This is Bitcoin's price chart over the last 12 months, from over $126,000 to $66,899 today. The market is in extreme fear, 14 out of 100 on the panic meter. And when I compared this crash to every single one in Bitcoin's history, and I looked at where we are in the 4-year Bitcoin cycle right now, and I saw what the biggest institutions on the planet were quietly doing with their money, and I ran the actual numbers on what a simple strategy would have returned even through every crash, I am going to walk you through every single one of those charts, in detail, in plain English. And by the end of this video, you will know exactly what the data says about whether right now, March 2026, is a moment to buy, to wait, or to run. But I have to warn you, one of those charts contains a data point that completely changed my view on this crash. It is not the price chart. It is not the fear index. It is something most people are not talking about. Stay with me. Welcome back to Money with Emma, the channel where we break down investing, crypto, and financial freedom in plain English. No jargon, no hype, just data. If you are new here, hit that subscribe button right now. I post this kind of analysis every week, and you do not want to miss it. Before we dive in, and this is important, nothing in this video is financial advice. I am sharing research and data. What you decide to do with your own money is completely your decision. Always do your own research. Consult a financial advisor if you need one. Got it? Good. Let us get into the numbers. Let us start with the most basic question. What actually happened to Bitcoin? This chart answers it instantly. The bottom of the chart is time, running from March 2025 on the left all the way to today on the right, 1 full year. The right side is the price of one Bitcoin in dollars, from 70,000 at the bottom up to 120,000 at the top. Now read that red line from left to right. March 2025, Bitcoin is sitting around $83,000. It climbs through spring and summer, up through 100,000, 110,000, 120,000. That wide, bumpy peak you see in the middle of the chart, that is the all-time high, just above $126,000, October 2025. Then look at what happens after November. The line stops climbing, it turns, and by February 2026, it does not slope down gently. It falls off a cliff. That small red badge on the far right of the chart, that is today, $66,899. A drop of 47% in 5 months. If you had $10,000 at the peak, you have roughly $5,300 today. That's what this chart is showing. The scale is real, the drop is real. Now let's understand what it actually means. This next chart does not show price over time. It shows one thing only. How is the market feeling right now, today? This is the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. That horizontal bar is a scale from 0 to 100. The colors tell the whole story. On the far left, dark red. That's extreme fear. The market is panicking. People are selling emotionally, not rationally. Moving right, the bar goes from orange, fear, to yellow, neutral, to light green, greed, and all the way to bright green on the right. That's extreme greed, euphoria. Everyone thinks prices can only go up. Now look at that thick black marker on the bar. See where it sits? Almost all the way to the left, deep inside the dark red. The number to the right confirms it. 14 out of 100. Extreme fear. Updated this morning, March 1st, 2026. 14 means the market is not just nervous, it's panicking. And historically, panic has not been a good time to sell. It's been a good time to pay very close attention. I'll show you exactly why in the next chart. This chart goes back to 2010, 16 years of Bitcoin crashes on a single screen. Let me explain what you're looking at. The bottom is time. Left is the past, right is today. The left axis is the key one. It measures how far Bitcoin has fallen from its all-time high at any given moment. 0 at the top means Bitcoin is at its peak, no drop at all. -50 means it has lost half its value from the top. -90 means it has lost 90%. The lower you go on this chart, the worse the crash. That pink line running along the top is the actual Bitcoin price rising over time, from almost nothing in 2010 to near $100,000 today. The big picture? Up. Now look at those black spikes punching downward through the blue area. Each spike is a crash, and I want you to look at each one. 2011, that first spike goes almost to -90%. Bitcoin crashed from $30 to $2. People said it was dead. 2014, 2015, -83%, down for over a year, dead. 2018, the spike plunges to -84%. Bitcoin fell from $20,000 to $3,000, dead. 2022, -77%. The FTX collapse, dead. And after every single one of those death calls, the pink price line recovered and hit new all-time highs every time. Now look at the very far right of the chart, the most recent spike, our crash, right now in 2026. It reaches about -35%. -35. Compare that to -84 in 2018, -77 in 2022. Our current crash is one of the shallowest corrections in Bitcoin's entire history. Does that mean it can't go lower? No, it can. But the historical context this chart provides changes everything. If this kind of data-driven breakdown is useful to you, hit that like button right now. It genuinely helps more people find this video. And subscribe so you never miss the next one. To understand where we are right now, you need to see this chart. I call it the 4-year clock. This goes back to 2009. The left axis is Bitcoin's price, but here the scale works differently. Each step is 10 times bigger than the last, from 1 cent to 10 cents to $1, all the way up to 100,000. This is the only way to show Bitcoin's entire journey, from literally nothing to over $100,000 on a single chart. Now look at the background. It alternates between dark green bands and black bands. Those bands are not random. They're defined by something called the Bitcoin halving. Every 4 years, the amount of new Bitcoin being created is cut in half, less new supply coming into the market. You can see each halving date marked by those red badges along the bottom, 2012, 2016, 2020, and the most recent one, April 2024. Now look at the bright green price line inside each dark green band. It goes up significantly every single time. Less supply, stable or growing demand, prices tend to rise. Now look at the bright yellow vertical line on the far right. That's today. We're inside a dark green band, a post-halving bull cycle. And those blue badges reading 47.09%, that's how far through the current cycle we are today, less than halfway through. If history follows its pattern, this cycle may not be over yet. Here's something that gets completely lost when everyone is panicking. While retail investors are scared and selling, the biggest institutional Bitcoin holder in the world has not stopped buying. This chart shows the Bitcoin holdings of a company called Strategy. You might know them as MicroStrategy. They're a publicly traded company that holds Bitcoin as their primary asset instead of cash. The bottom axis is time, from 2020 to early 2026. The left axis is how many Bitcoin they own, up to 800,000 at the top. Read that blue area from left to right. It starts small in 2020, then grows in a staircase pattern. Each flat section is a waiting period. Each sudden jump upward is a new purchase announcement. Notice something important. They kept buying even through the 2022 crash when Bitcoin lost 77% of its value. They didn't panic. They bought more. Now look at late 2024. That staircase suddenly becomes a rocket. Holdings jump from 230,000 to over 420,000 Bitcoin in just weeks, the steepest section of the entire chart. Today, 717,722 Bitcoin, worth roughly $48 billion. Their last purchase? 6 days ago, February 23rd, 2026, right in the middle of this crash. They didn't panic, they bought more. All right, you've seen the crash, you've seen the fear, the history, the cycle, the big institutions are doing. Now I want to show you what a regular person with no special knowledge, no timing skills, could have actually done and what it returned. This tool is called DCABTC.com. Look at the settings on the left of the screen. $100 invested every single week for 8 years, starting March 2019. No analysis, no timing, just automatic. The chart on the right has 2 lines. They tell different stories. The green line is perfectly straight. That's how much money you physically put in, $100 every week, climbing in a smooth diagonal from 0 to roughly $28,000. The orange, jagged line is your actual Bitcoin portfolio value, what your coins are worth at any moment. Follow the orange line from left to right. Early on, it runs close to the green. Then from mid-2020, as Bitcoin rises, the orange line starts climbing away from the green. By early 2021, the orange line is at $60,000 to $70,000, while you've only invested about $8,000 to $10,000 total. That gap between the lines, that's your profit. Then 2022, the crash. The orange line falls hard. It drops from $80,000 all the way back down toward the green line. For a moment in late 2022, your profits have nearly disappeared. That's the hardest moment in this strategy. Everything in you wants to stop. But you don't stop. You keep investing your $100 every week. And those $100 are now buying Bitcoin at $15,000, $16,000, incredibly cheap. Then 2024. The orange line explodes upward. It peaks at approximately $140,000. $140,000 portfolio value against $28,000 invested. Even after the current crash brings it back down, your portfolio still sits at roughly $90,000, more than 3 times what you put in. You did not time anything. You just showed up every week. That is dollar cost averaging, and that chart just showed you what it looks like in real life. So here is the bottom line. Bitcoin is down 47% from its all-time high. The Fear and Greed Index is at 14, extreme fear. Every previous time history recorded this level of panic, Bitcoin was near a bottom, not a top. The halving cycle says we are less than halfway through the current bull phase. The biggest institutions on the planet held through this crash and kept buying. And a simple $100 a week strategy started in 2019 turned $28,000 into roughly $90,000, even after the crash. Is this a guaranteed buying opportunity? No, nothing in investing is guaranteed. But if you believe in Bitcoin long-term, approach it with discipline and only invest what you can afford to leave untouched for years. The data suggests you're not looking at a bad entry point. Not financial advice. Do your own research, always. If you want more of this, investing, crypto, financial freedom, all in plain English, you can follow me everywhere. On X, I am @MoneyWithEmma. On Facebook, find the page Money with Emma. On TikTok and Instagram, I am @money_with_Emma. And right here on YouTube, subscribe to Money with Emma. I post every week, real data, plain language, no hype. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one.